Hello and welcome to the Post to Post podcast. It is podcast number 84 coming at you on October 13th, 2019. It is Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. The United States Thanksgiving is about a month from now, something like that, around Black Friday.
Black Friday actually comes because of Thanksgiving, not the other way around.
Oh.
Let's try to put Thanksgiving near Black Friday, Jeeves.
When you think of Black Friday, do you think of Thanksgiving or do you think of awesome sales?
I think of Thanksgiving because I don't live in the United States. I've never been there on Thanksgiving weekend.
I have.
You have?
I have
you?
actually.
Wow.
It's in California.
And I know that here in Canada, it's foolish really, but Canada, I think to maybe try to keep some shoppers home from going across the border on the Friday of Thanksgiving weekend in the States, they have started doing Black Friday sales up here in Canada, especially in places that are border towns, like across from Buffalo, Niagara Falls, Windsor, Ontario, Bellingham, over to Abbotsford and Vancouver, those places where Canadians can be in the States in 10 minutes. Not Vancouver so much, but almost. Anyway, I don't know how well it's taken on. There's big sales, huge sales in Canada. I don't know if it has had the desired effect of keeping people located at home as opposed to going away.
I think it's completely. I think it's a little bit different. I think in the United States, you go in to get the sale. You rush into Walmart, you get the TV that's 80% off. In Canada, I think it's more online sales.
Yeah,
they have like Best Buy will have a huge online one. Amazon. So I think in Canada, it's less going in to get it and waiting in line and stuff, and more convenience. I'm sure it's like that too in the United States. You do see those videos out of the United States where people are jumping over each other.
Crazy. They're all just, they open the doors at a Best Buy or something, and it's people, the first 20 or 30 fall flat in their face, and everyone else walks over them.
Yeah.
It's ooh, man. I don't get it. I really don't.
That's awesome.
To me, it's a bit of the retailer thing, too. Having been in a family that did retail for many years, I understand the concept of putting things on sale and having loss leaders and having door crasher things to get people in your store, hoping they're going to buy the stuff that's at regular markup. I don't know if that's being achieved lately. I don't think anyone's going into Walmart to buy a $80 42-inch television and then stopping on the way out saying, "Oh yes, I need a measuring cup and I need a spatula for my kitchen." No, they're just getting in and getting out.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway,
well, but I definitely plan to buy some things on Black Friday.
Do you?
Do you?
No, because for me it's an ordinary day. It's an ordinary working weekday. It's not even a holiday weekend in Canada because Thanksgiving in the States is on a Thursday. Here it's always on a Monday, so we always have a long 3-day weekend. But in the States, people take Friday off or get Friday off in some cases, so they have a 4-day weekend. It's a big, big deal down there. But I don't feel it. I just don't feel it.
I feel it big time.
Yeah, well, you are next to the word or the phrase bargain hunter in the dictionary is a picture of this man. Because even yesterday, we were trying to decide where to order our pizza from because we were going to have pizza last night, which was great. And for you, it was all about the coupons and the deals. And
you got to get the best deal.
I just want to get my pizza and get out. But you were like, oh, no, there's 20% off this one. And if we get a 2-topping here, we can get a free 3.
Heck yeah.
Man.
All about saving that cheddar.
You are mostly Scottish ancestry, so that makes sense that you'd want to save a couple of coin.
Did you watch any hockey yesterday?
I did.
What games did you watch?
I watched a bit of Ottawa-Tampa.
Yeah.
And it was really good, actually, until I switched away to watch football, which was horrible.
I assume you watched the Montreal Canadiens game?
Absolutely.
Did you watch any late game?
I did watch a bit of late game on Fast Forward, and I watched all the highlights on the NHL channel. So
awesome.
I have seen, I think I've seen every goal that was scored last night, although I may not have instant recall for Jeopardy purposes.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go through the games. The first game on, I believe, was the Edmonton Rangers game.
Yeah.
Edmonton won 4-1. It's pretty even till the third, though. A couple of fluky goals in that game. The Rangers look like they have some legit chemistry for a lot of new players on the team. Kako got his first goal. Last night.
It was a nice one, too.
Like Panarin. Lundqvist was in net.
He was in net, and that very first goal that launched Edmonton, that long wrist shot from Clefbaum, he was just totally screened. It didn't hit anything. It just went up in the top corner over his left shoulder. But yeah, he
played well.
He played well. He did play well.
there's a bit of a changing of the guard a little bit in New York with Georgiev coming in.
Very good.
But yeah, Lundqvist played pretty good last night. The score does not dictate the pace or the overall recap of that game. It wasn't a 4-1 win, even though it says 4-1. It was really probably like a 2-1.
Quality of the game.
It was a close game until the third period.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of them were. A lot of these lopsided 2 and 3 goal games were tied with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of them were last night.
The game, okay, we'll go into the game that you watched a bit of, the Ottawa-Tampa Bay game. Ottawa won 4-2. Nemestikov with 3 points coming into Ottawa, getting 3 points. Pretty close game in general. Kind of went back and forth a little bit, but
it did. It did. Tampa was right in. This is one of those games. Tampa was in it right till near the end. Then there was a late goal, and then they pulled the goalie. Nemestikov's second goal was into an empty net, and it's Ottawa's first win. They've been struggling, and they're going to struggle this year. There's no secret about that. But they look good against what is predicted to be the best team in the league this season. They look really good.
I think they've looked good in every single game in portions, but they're not consistent. But they definitely showed some resilience last night. Tampa, they just look a little off.
They do
all season,
and
so far.
It could be the affliction that many sports teams have in different sports, where you go into someone else's arena knowing you're probably twice as good as they are, and you don't bring your best.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that, especially in the regular season, anybody can beat anybody on any given day. And even when Tampa realizes that Ottawa's being competitive here, it's a 2-2 game and it's getting late, they didn't have a way to shut it down.
Yeah. It's amazing with all those superstars in that team.
Yeah.
And you can't take out Ottawa, which is probably projected to be in the bottom 5 of the league this year. So, yeah, it's wild. But that's the cool thing about the NHL. Football, it's not really like that. You can kind of almost predict football every night for the most part. But hockey, any team can beat any team in any given night. So, the game after that was the LA-Nashville game.
Yeah.
LA won 7-4. Kind of one of those games that wasn't really a 7-4 game.
No, because it was tied 4-4 with less than a minute to go.
58 seconds or something
58
like that.
seconds when Nashville or LA went up to 5-4.
Oh, 4-4 with 8 minutes left, and then LA scored with basically a minute left to make it 5-4, I think.
Yep.
And then it ended up 7-4, which is crazy.
Yeah, what happens?
And, like Nashville, a couple of giveaways, really frustrating giveaways to, as Canadians fans, we understand how frustrating it is to watch a team with so many giveaways, but it was pretty bad last night in Nashville.
But PK Subban had no giveaways for Nashville last night.
No, not for Nashville. Not for Nashville.
We're getting to that game in Jersey.
Winnipeg played Chicago. Pretty close game. Winnipeg won 3-2. Didn't look great in the first, though. Looked pretty weak.
Yeah.
Leonard with a bit of a softie in OT, which is unfortunate because I thought Chicago played pretty good in that game. But I don't know.
It's nice to see Scheifele get that goal because he's such an exuberant lover of hockey himself.
Totally.
And for him to play that role in overtime is great.
Totally.
Yeah, Chicago not quite, a little flat.
They're disappointing me a little bit. I thought they do have a better start. They've been competitive in games, but just losing it. Boston and New Jersey. I didn't watch a second of this game, just the highlights. But from what I saw, Rask was fantastic.
He was.
Pretty depth game by Boston. Lots of contributions from all lines. Even though New Jersey lost, I thought Schneider made some really good saves in that game.
He did. Oh, there was a breakaway by Marchand at one point, wasn't there?
Yep.
That he saved?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a sure bet.
And then there's another one in the first period. He made an unbelievable save.
Yeah.
But Subban, what led to that breakaway.
Yeah, really, it did.
But that's classic Subban.
It is classic Subban.
But that's what you get.
You get that, and you get amazing fire and spark and tremendous offensive rushes and super plays and big shots, and then you get that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really.
And I love the guy. In fact, if there was any way to get him back in Montreal, I'd still want him because I think it's worth it. But still, I'm kind of glad that those high-risk plays are hurting some other team now.
Yeah, exactly. He can be part of someone else's media, not the Montreal Canadiens media.
Yeah.
All right, next game, speaking of Montreal. Montreal won 6-3 over St. Louis. Gave St. Louis their first regulation loss, I believe. I will say that St. Louis they looked a little surprised by Montreal's speed. They looked a little slow and a little taken back a little bit by Montreal's speed. Montreal does have some speedy players. Bennington didn't really have much defensive support. Montreal, I think, like 38 shots or something like
Brendan
that.
Gallagher was all over him a couple of times, right in his crease. Although it's funny, St. Louis, I thought there was a couple of occasions where they might have asked for a review on goaltender interference.
I also thought that.
And they didn't. And I'm not sure what they were thinking of there. Now, the rule is different, of course, isn't it? Where if you fail on a review, you get a penalty.
Which happened last night in the game. I can't remember which one.
Yeah. Yes, I do recall. I think it was out west.
It was.
But I thought Winnipeg played better than the score shows. Or, sorry, St. Louis played better than the score shows because they were in the game for quite a while. They were ahead 3-2 at one point.
Yeah.
So they were winning the game, actually. Early in the third, they'd scored that goal and went ahead 3-2, and then Montreal just scored 4.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see that coming.
No.
Didn't see that coming. That goal by Drouin, by the way, that where Winnipeg had tied the goal, or sorry, what am I doing here? St. Louis tied the game near the end of the first period with a minute and a half left. It was all of a sudden 1-1. And the announcers were going, oh, here goes Montreal. You know, they just can't seem to hold it together for the whole period.
Because they had a really good period up until that point.
They had a great period.
Yeah.
And while the announcers were taking their next breath, Drouin went in and scored. And it was a beautiful goal and a beautiful shot. And I saw a little bit of French media last night, and they're saying this is the best he has looked as a Montreal Canadian for sure ever so far. Like he's actually coming to play.
Now, we complain about Montreal a lot because they're our favorite team. We're more critical of them than any other team. I will say that Montreal does have the ability in the last 2 years, just in the last 2 years, to come back in games. I don't know why they have this ability now. They're basically the same lineup for the most part, but they don't give up. Like there are so many times, like classic Montreal, just you lose the lead in the first period, you're down by 2. That's the game. Mm-hmm. Montreal isn't coming back. If they did, it was super rare. Now, I feel like they can probably do it in any game, and they have done it in a lot of games in the past 2 years.
Well, and just in this season, it's very young, but Montreal has won a few games. Every single game that they've won, they were behind until last night by 2 goals, last night by 1 goal, and had to do a comeback every single time.
Yeah.
That'll eventually bite you in the bum.
It sure will, yeah.
You can't play from behind every game.
Exactly.
And expect to win most of them. You just can't. It's been a bit of a fluke so far, but what Montreal has to learn to do is get the lead and keep it.
Yeah, they're not good at protecting the lead.
They're terrible at that right now. But I think one of the differences is in the last 2 years is Max Domi. They've had him for the last...
Absolutely.
He's the guy that I just know, Gallagher's a little older now, he's a little more wise, but Max Domi is still young. And if Montreal was down 10-0, and it was halfway through the third period, you'd go down the bench and they'd all be hanging their heads, and Max Domi would be sitting there like, let's go, boys, we can get back in this. Like, I just have this feeling that he would never quit.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
And that goal he scored, the empty netter, was beautiful.
It was beautiful, yeah.
And he had got a bit of a slash or a stick in the face or something, or an elbow in the face earlier, and that was still bothering him. But for him, the skill he showed, and I recommend that play to people if they haven't seen it, the puck is coming up as he's going down the ice towards the empty net. He kicks it with his skate over to the left of him, and then he dives with his stick in his right hand and chips it into the empty net. It was an empty net goal, which are usually not exciting. That was amazing.
It was exciting, yeah.
I love that one.
Fans loved it too.
Did you see the very first goal? Did you watch any of it live? Because I know you were
I didn't watch
at
any
a
of it live,
social
no.
function. I was watching it live. And the first goal, and here I am again. It's my last podcast. Well, no, my second to last podcast for quite some time. The media, CBC, Hockey Night in Canada, Sportsnet, whoever it was that actually ran this broadcast, were absolutely awful, and they should all be fired and never work in TV sports ever again. There.
Did they miss it live?
They missed the goal. They missed Tatar's goal. They were showing a highlight package of something that happened 2 years ago to one of the players on the opposing team, and it showed him doing something. I don't even remember what it was. And all of a sudden you hear the crowd in the background and the horn. He scores! And they could only show the goal on the replay because by the time the goal was in the net, the puck was in the net, on the first goal last night, on a live TV broadcast, they were still showing the highlight package from 2 years ago on some other guy. And that is a fatal mistake.
Yeah.
It's not just a bad, it's fatal. If you want to produce and provide a good product to the viewers who are passionate hockey fans, it's fatal.
If you did that job or I did that job, was new to it, will probably make those mistakes maybe. These are supposed to be the best of the best.
Yeah.
Are they not?
Yeah.
Like
supposedly. And if they are, then we're in big trouble. Because if they're the best, I'd hate to see the B team do these broadcasts. But in every job I've ever had, I've had varying degrees of responsibility that's put on me to be the best I can be. Now in my current job, which is in the Federal Public Service of Canada, we have a performance management computer application that your boss puts in the things that you need to do this year to get a good score. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, then you get a talking to or things can get worse. There's a sliding scale of be better next time to here's your empty box, fill it up and go out the door. Like there's it can be any of those things. It's hardly ever that last one, unfortunately for some. But fortunately for me, whew. Anyway, if I were in charge of performance management for the hockey broadcast crews, mm-hmm. I would say to every producer or director, whichever the role is, for every face-off you miss and for every goal you miss because you've chosen to show something else instead, thinking you had enough time and mm-hmm. you didn't, you will be docked $1,000 off your pay or whatever.
And it doesn't seem to happen as frequently or maybe at all on U.S. broadcasts. Like I was watching, I think it was late last year, I was watching a Buffalo Rangers game on NBC, and it was flawless. Like that production, and NBC doesn't always get it right, but that specific game that I watched was awesome. I think we maybe even talked about it, mm-hmm. But it seems to happen a lot more in Canada. They're just obsessed with their toys, like you like to say. So. Yeah,
and I think that's it. They're just desperate to show all these fancy innovations they've got. Mm. Where in the States, maybe NBC and Fox and whoever, they're more interested in just showing what happened in the game. And I go back to my original thought. Try to give the viewer at home the same experience as the viewer in the arena. Mm. And the viewer in the arena is watching what's happening on the ice. Sees everything. And they're not watching other people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Which CBC is obsessed with other people in the crowd. As soon as they score a goal, they show the crowd all jumping up. I have no S's to give or no others to give about what some fat guy in the crowd is jumping up and down with his belly hanging out. I don't want to see that. I just don't. Okay. I want to see them celebrating on the ice.
I agree.
Have I gone on a little too long about this?
No, it's okay. I don't mind seeing the crowd, but I would 100% prefer to see the players on the ice celebrating. Because you see them, like you can read lips and stuff. You can see them say things. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see. I've seen a crowd cheer 100,000 times. I know what that looks like. Mm-hmm. I want to see the reactions and the emotions of the players. So I completely agree.
Just a quick final factoid from last night. It's the first time Bennington has allowed 5 goals or more, but in this case 5 goals in a regulation game.
And in the regular
season. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's not like he's been in the league for 9 years or something like that. But,
no, but still, I'll take it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, the next game, the Toronto-Detroit game. Toronto won 5-2, 41 shots on goal for Toronto. Detroit had a pretty good start to the game.
They did.
But when you allow 41 shots on goal, you can't really expect to win the game unless your goalie completely stands on his head. And it happens sometimes, but Toronto looked really good last night.
They looked really good, and the best part about Toronto was their secondary and tertiary units in scoring. It wasn't Marner, Matthews, Nylander. It wasn't those guys. It was the other guys.
That's what you have to worry about with Toronto.
Yeah.
They're so fast and so deadly on every single line. It's concerning. Like, as a Canadiens fan, every time Montreal plays Toronto, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I don't care if Carey Price is in net. Like, Toronto's so deadly that, and Detroit's been playing good so far this year. Really good, actually.
They've had a good run, a good beginning.
And I wouldn't even say that they played bad last night. Toronto just had a really good game.
Mm-hmm. And the first goal that Toronto scored, it was all about hard work, and that's
absolutely
like Timashov was in the corner, and he didn't have the puck. He went in, he muscled the guy, he got the puck, and out to Shore, and Shore eventually scored with it. But it was all just work, a hard-working blue-collar goal. It was great.
Which I would say maybe isn't a typical Toronto goal because they are such a skilled team. Mm-hmm. Like a team like Ottawa or a team like, I don't know, maybe LA or something like that. like teams that have to really work for a goal. They don't have a bunch of superstars up front. Kind of that grindy kind of goal. You wouldn't necessarily want to or expect to see that from Toronto, but that's exactly what we saw in that first goal last night.
And all 5 goals were scored by non-elite players. Kerfoot got one, which was
Yes,
nice.
he did.
And Kadri got one. We'll get to that, but Kadri got one for Colorado,
Colorado,
too.
yeah.
So both teams are happy.
Yeah, so far.
I still think Toronto's probably happier. But anyway.
I agree.
It was a great game. I enjoyed it very much. I didn't watch it continuously, but I did flip around and fast forward through it. Interestingly, to further support the lunch pail crew getting the job done last night, and maybe the other guys taking a bit of a night off, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander were all -1 in a 5-2 win.
Oh, interesting. And not a lot of times that means anything.
No.
But
Like, you're on the ice for at least one of the goals against, and you were not on the ice for at least 4 of the goals for, right? So,
if this was a typical Toronto 5-2 win, and they were on the ice for a goal against, they're still probably like +2 or something like that.
Totally.
They're the guys who get the 5 goals. But
Yeah.
Okay, next game, the Islanders in Florida. Pretty good game, actually. Islanders won 3-2. Montembeault started for Florida. If I hadn't known that, I probably would have picked the Islanders to win that game, but I didn't. I picked Florida. No offense to Montembeault, but Bobrovsky is my dude. But he did get them a point. He played really well.
Yeah.
I thought probably overall Barzal was the best player on the ice for both teams. He played really well, as predicted by anyone.
No surprise there.
Incredible player.
Yeah.
Very important points for the Islanders last night.
Yeah.
But still, really close game, really good game. Not like, if you pick two teams that probably don't have a beef, you might think the Islanders in Florida, but they played against each other in the playoffs, I think 3 or 4 years ago, and it was an amazing series. I think Yager was still playing with Florida at the time. John Tavares was obviously still with Islanders. It was an awesome series. It was one of my favorite series from that year. So, and it kind of felt like that a little bit last night, like that rivalry was still there. But those aren't two teams that you would necessarily pick to have a rivalry. But
No.
Good game last night.
Yeah, very good game, and they played it out in at the Nassau Coliseum as well.
What was do you know the? I was gonna say, I can't think of the capacity, or not capacity, not population.
Attendance?
Attendance.
I imagine it was full. I don't know that, but they only have 13,000+ seats the way it's configured. So if they didn't sell that out, then they're in trouble, and I don't think they're in trouble. The place was rocking.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. Now, I'm guessing it was the Nassau Coliseum. The only way it might not be is if they've reconfigured the Barclays Center and put the camera at center ice and get rid of the car. But there was no car, and the camera was at center ice. So I'm just guessing it was at the Nassau Coliseum. It didn't say it on the face-off dot where it was. But I'm guessing.
I don't know.
I'm guessing. But it was a good atmosphere inside.
But it was definitely in New York.
Definitely in New York, somewhere.
I don't remember from the highlights.
Somewhere on Long Island. And if you're from Brooklyn, like, I'm in Brooklyn, I'm not in Long Island. Yes, you are.
Columbus and Carolina. Columbus won 3-2. I think that shocked a lot of people because Carolina was undefeated until last night. Pierre-Luc Dubois had an absolutely beautiful goal. Reimer and Korpisalo both played great.
Yep.
I think there was highlight reel saves both ends of the ice in this game. Carolina looks like they looked good last year. They looked great in the playoffs. I really didn't think they would start this year looking better than last year or in the playoffs last year, and they have.
They have.
Is it for real?
I think it is.
I think it is too.
I think
Honestly,
it is.
I do. They look so good, minus those white jerseys, but
Didn't they look great in the ice, though, last night?
they did look okay.
They were the home team, but they wore white, and they wore their third jersey with canes down the front diagonally. And they looked really good. I know when we did the review, you didn't like them, but I did. And I still
they
do.
were home last night?
They were at home last night. They were actually at home in Carolina.
I thought they were supposed to wear the white ones on the road.
Well, we had that conversation before, but for special occasions with arrangements with the other team, you can change colors if you want. So they were wearing their home whites.
All right.
Like their road whites at home. Their third jersey, which is
no,
white.
it's not. Apparently, it's not a third jersey. It's their official away jersey now. So
Okay, well, they're wearing it at home last
everyone in
night.
the comments corrected me in our video. So
Oh, okay. All right.
Washington and Dallas. Washington won 4-1. Honestly, from what I saw in that game, Dallas just standing still quite a bit. There was a goal. I think it was like a 3-on-1 or something, and Hanley the only Dallas defenseman in the play was in front of the net and literally just got out of the way, laid down and got out of the way, and like, what are you doing? Like, you don't want to screen your goalie. Understandable. Take out the passing lane for the guy that was in contention. Like, there was 3 guys there, but really 2 main guys, and he went the opposite way and just laid down like Hal Gill over in the corner. I don't understand. Anyway, it looked like someone paid Dallas to lose.
Ooh, are you throwing shade?
I know you're not. But they didn't lose because they're a bad team.
Yeah,
they lost because they looked like they just weren't trying. Like, someone literally paid them to lose, but they weren't convincing. Like, where dude lays down and like doesn't get in the way. Like, he just kind of like gave them the goal. So I don't know. It was just weird. They just stood still a lot, so it was disappointing. But good for Washington fans.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh and Minnesota game was a bit of a weird one. Pittsburgh won 7-4. Minnesota needs to stay out of the box. Pittsburgh was 2-4. Went 2 and 4.
2 for 4.
2 for 4 on the power play last night. Crosby looked great. Dumoulin was a +4. You got Malkin out with that injury. Some questions in Pittsburgh. Can they stay competitive? Obviously, they can.
Obviously, they can, and they've been able to do that in the past. When Malkin's been out for an extended time, or Crosby's been out for an extended time,
the other one plays really
well. And I've always wondered, and I still wonder, is there a chemical issue there that do they get along? And does one say, "Oh, finally, he's out of here now. Let's go"? Like, I don't know. It just
I don't think so. But
they're not in the same line, so
yeah. And you never really see them being super buddy-buddy.
No, I think Malkin is just very...
Yeah. I know who didn't get along with Malkin, and that was Kessel. They were always bickering on the ice like an old married couple, or on the bench. Big win for Pittsburgh, though. A pretty important win. They need those points. Colorado and Arizona. Colorado won 3-2. Burakovsky, awesome goal in OT.
It was beautiful.
Makar with 2 assists. Arizona, pretty resilient.
Yeah.
Came back in the game.
They got a point.
Made it a game. Yeah. Arizona looks pretty good this year.
They do. It's slow coming, but...
Slow coming.
Yeah.
They look really good. Attendance is up. Some good things in Arizona coming. Vancouver and Philadelphia. Did you say you watched one of the late games? Did you watch this one or the
I watched
Calgary one?
Pieces of this, and I watched pieces of the Calgary game, Calgary-Vegas game. Mostly the Vegas-Calgary game, frankly.
So Vancouver won 3-2. Markstrom was fantastic, I thought, the entire game. He let in maybe a questionable goal, but in general made some awesome highlight reel saves. I thought Hart, and this goes back to last year a little bit, Hart really makes Philadelphia a different team. It's been so long since Philadelphia has been waiting forever to find this goalie. Probably franchise goalie. He's going to be with the team probably forever. It makes them a different team because a lot of the times, like, Philadelphia is so inconsistent. They get out and they'll give up 6 goals in the first half of the game, and then it's over. Kind of feels like a different team now. Hart, a little more consistent. I would say maybe Philadelphia's a little easier to predict. I find Philadelphia the most difficult team to predict as far as who's going to win or where they're going to fall in the standings. They're just so unpredictable and inconsistent. I just never know with Philadelphia.
Even from one period to the next in the same game.
Absolutely.
They can dominate a period and then forget to show up in the next one. What happened there?
I've never seen anything like it. Like, you see spurts of that from other teams is normal. Mm-hmm. But Philadelphia for the past probably 10 years has always been kind of wishy-washy a little bit. Big win for Vancouver, though. Okay, so the last game, Vegas and Calgary. Vegas won 6-2. Riddick did let in some softies, but made some unbelievable saves.
He did.
The defense core in Calgary just left him out to dry most of that game.
Thankfully, some of his saves were on Max Pacioretty, so he wasn't in much danger. Ooh. But yeah, he played well, but 6-2 doesn't really reflect the flow of the game fully.
I agree.
Vegas deserved to win it, obviously, but it wasn't as bad as it looked on the scoreboard.
I agree.
Yep.
Okay, so that wraps up the game recaps. I just want to talk about some stats a little bit. I got some trivia questions for you.
Ooh.
Who has the most points in the NHL currently?
Oh, man. Honestly, is it a Detroit player?
It's not.
Okay, I don't know.
McDavid. 12 points.
You know they're 5-0 now?
Edmonton's playing really good.
They're unbeaten. Edmonton is unbeaten. That's great. Good for them.
Absolutely.
It's about time. It's about time.
Who has the most goals in the NHL?
A Detroit player?
No. James Neal.
Oh, yeah.
7 goals.
Is this a fluke? Is it like he knocked around here and he knocked around there, and now he's in Edmonton. He's older. What can you do with a guy who's obviously on the downslope of his career, and then this happens?
I don't think it's a fluke. I think it's he's not going to score at this pace for the rest of the season. But I think this trade works even from when it first happened. I think pretty much everything I read and everything I heard, and I agreed with, that Edmonton won this trade. And it's shown so far. Now, he's going to slow down a little bit. Probably he's not going to score at this pace, like I said. But good for them. Mm-hmm. Good for him so far. Good for them. Okay, assists.
Connor McDavid.
He's tied. Yes.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's tied with John Carlson. But they both have 8. What about plus minus?
I have no idea.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Defenseman, Eastern Conference.
Plus minus defenseman, Eastern Conference. You know, for fun, I'll say Shea Weber, but I know it's wrong.
No, not Shea Weber. Dougie Hamilton, plus 7.
Oh.
Okay, now, penalty minutes.
That makes sense.
Who do you think has got the most penalty minutes? I'll give you, not really a hint. I think second place has 17 penalty minutes. First place has 26.
Wilson.
Milan Lucic.
Oh.
Not a surprise.
I'm not surprised at all.
Okay, on to some general news here. Mm-hmm. So, Kaapo Kakko scored his first goal recently, but did you know that he did a favor for a fan of his?
I did not.
So, obviously, big name in town. All of his jerseys were sold out at Madison Square Garden. So, there's a fan that ordered one online to get it delivered. Guess who delivered it?
Kaapo Kakko?
Kaapo Kakko.
No kidding.
Delivered his own jersey to the fan. Pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Awesome. So good for him. Good for the Rangers for setting that up. And the fan was obviously pretty thrilled.
There are some, and we talked about this already. I won't bore everybody with it again, but the growth of the game in Finland and the ability of Finland to provide exceptional players to the NHL and probably other places is just incredible.
Yeah, Finland has provided a lot of good players over the past 40 years or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But in the past 10 years?
In the past 10 years, it's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Their development program is out of sight.
Yes.
It's just fantastic, and other countries are now sniffing around wondering how they're doing it. But I got thinking about that this morning. I was watching on tape delay because I can't get up at 2:30 in the morning, our time, to watch a race. But the Japanese Grand Prix was held earlier today, and it was won by Valtteri Bottas, who's Finnish. And Bottas has had several wins, but he's not the guy who wins the most, which is Lewis Hamilton. But he and Lewis are on the same team. So Bottas, he started third, but he ended up winning the race because Ferrari had some problems. But anyway, after the race is over, this is the part I'm getting to. So how do you feel, Valtteri? You've got the win. I'm very excited. And I got thinking again, we've had the conversation before when we talk about Mika, who's, he's very low key, he's very subdued, but he's a funny guy. Right?
Yeah.
And I say again, if the aliens were coming and we needed to put a bunch of humans into a control room to run all the weaponry and stuff and not get worked up about stuff, I want all Finland guys
I
in
agree,
there.
Actually. I agree with that.
Okay, the aliens are coming. Hang on. There, we got them. Very good, guys. It's and I just love the attitude that they bring.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like Kokanyemi. He's more
smiley. He's pretty smiley.
More smiley, but for the most part, these are they're serious buggers, and they're here to
very
get
logical.
Stuff done. Oh yeah, totally. I love them.
Yeah,
I just love them. Very, very happy.
Phil Kessel played his 1,000th game, which is pretty cool. I don't consider Phil Kessel to be an old guy yet.
No,
he's
not really.
still kind of young or whatever.
Yeah,
he doesn't look young, but 1,000 games, pretty impressive. So good for him. He seems to be doing well.
Wonder where he celebrated. Red Lobster, Wendy's.
Keep going.
Outback.
No.
Yeah. You tell me.
Any kind of local hot dog chain. Marleau returns to San Jose, scores twice in game against Chicago this week. Awesome. They didn't sign him for much. Probably his last year, maybe your second last year. But he gets to go home to San Jose, which is awesome.
It's a great story.
Was my favorite player on San Jose until he left to go to Toronto. Now he's back. I can't say that he's my favorite player on San Jose.
He'll have to have many more showers to get the blue off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or that shade of blue.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a couple of rumors floating around that Laine may be going to the Islanders in exchange for Noah Dobson, which is interesting.
Ooh.
Now, a story about Noah Dobson. I don't think I ever said this on the channel or on social media, but the job that I just quit, I worked for a Toyota dealership, and this summer, if you guys don't know, Noah Dobson is from Summerside here on the island, and I worked for Summerside Toyota, and we lent him a Tundra to use for the summer, so he was into the dealership and stuff, and his dad was in last week, I think on my second last day or last day, so their family is friends with the dealership. Kind of cool, but
definitely
talked a little bit of hockey and around the showroom there, and I think I can't remember what his dad said. I overheard. I can't remember, but basically, exciting time for the family, for Noah. I think it'd be a bit disappointing to see him get traded because, from what I heard from his father and around, that he does really like the Islanders organization and stuff. So
you didn't hear the rumor of the trade for Laine from the
dad?
No, I didn't think so.
From the dad, no. Yeah. I read that online.
Yeah.
So, but there's been Laine rumors for the past 9 months. So
we've had it's an interesting in a sense because we are the island or Prince Edward Island, and we've had some contacts and connections with the New York Islanders over the years, off and on. And this is one of them now with Noah Dobson. There's another Islander in the organization as well. Also, Gerard Gallant coached down there for a while. He's from Summerside too. So I like the idea of him playing in the island.
I do too,
the other island.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
I do too. The only good thing, or not good thing, but the only thing I like about this rumor is that he could potentially be going to a Canadian team in Winnipeg. It's a rumor. I don't know how much validity there is to this rumor, but it's hard to say because Laine's name has been out there linked to 1,000 different rumors, so I don't know. So, I just wanted to name some teams that are off to a good start and get your thoughts. Buffalo, off to a good start. I just want to know, we'll just do this quickly. Do you think they're for real?
Right now, I do.
Do you really?
I changed my mind on them. I think they are there. They're for real. I've seen one of their games, the one they played against Montreal, and it was very impressive.
I would have said yes last year when they did get out to a good start. But because of last year and because of the fall of the Sabres, I can't say that this year. I'm excited for Buffalo. I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm wearing their jersey, but I'm worried that the same thing's going to happen as last year. Get out to a really good start and then just fumble. Fingers crossed that it doesn't.
Mine are crossed too.
But I can't say yes or no to that question if they're for real or not. Detroit, are they for real?
I think. Oh man, it's hard. It's so hard. Detroit has waited a long time to become relevant again, and
you can see the potential.
Oh yeah,
like if they can be consistent, you wouldn't be surprised because of the talent they do have on the team already. But are they for real? Is this a fluky start or is this a real start? I leaned more towards the fluky side.
I think I am too, and I don't think they'll be for real when they get the goalie as well. Like you talked about Philly waiting for a goalie.
Yeah.
Jimmy Howard's been around a long time. And
good goalie,
but he's probably not in a place in his life and his career at his age that he's the guy that is still around when the rest of the team is formed.
Yeah.
So I think that's another piece they've got to work on. But up front, they're so exciting. Athanasiou and Mantha.
Oh, absolutely.
They're just incredible to watch.
I really like their lineup.
I do too. Yeah.
Edmonton, are they for real?
5-0. You want to say yeah, but we've been disappointed.
I know
so many times.
I know
that I'm not sure I'm willing to go there yet.
I agree. I completely agree. Ask me at the 20-game mark.
Yep, that's a fair. But now look at St. Louis last year.
If
you ask St. Louis at the
I know.
20-game mark, it's like they're toast, and then they come home with that.
It's pretty amazing. So I
But I think you're right.
never count out a team with McDavid on it. Same with Crosby. But again, I don't know. I don't know. I want to say yes to a Canadian team. I do like Edmonton, but
I love what they're
don't know.
doing, but they haven't really been fully tested yet. 5 games against 5 different teams. They've only got 25 other teams to play.
Yeah, and injuries could happen. Like we don't know. It's hard to predict. Anaheim has had a really good start to this season. Is it for real? They've had an amazing start, not an Edmonton start, but they've had a pretty good start.
I'm biasing myself. I don't think I gave Anaheim much hope this year, did I?
I didn't
Yeah.
at all. I don't think you did either.
No. I don't know enough about it yet.
Anaheim has notoriously got off to slow starts in a lot of seasons. Seasons that they've done very well and finished at the top of the division, went far and deep into the playoffs. Unfortunately, didn't win, but they always start those seasons very slow. It's unusual to see Anaheim start a season and do pretty well. So I don't know what that says. I did not predict them to do as well as they're playing right now. I like to see a couple more games from Anaheim before I answer that question, but I lean more on the side of no. Colorado's off to a pretty good start this season. I'm a little bit more overcritical of Colorado because they are one of my favorite teams. I like to think that maybe their start and their strong play is for real because they have showed a lot of potential in the past 2 years. They've been fairly consistent, but I do have a little bit of worry in that back pocket that I'm a little scared that they'll falter. But I love watching Colorado play. I love that team. So,
Yeah.
well, what about you?
I think they're as real as they were the last year or two. I think that they're a playoff team. And last year they showed, maybe that was a bit fluky in the first round, but last year they showed they could get past the first round. And I think they proved some things to themselves that maybe they weren't sure of.
Yep, I agree.
So I think they have a little more moxie, but they have a long way to go.
They do.
But when you hit the playoffs, you never know.
You never know.
So, yeah, could be.
Okay, so I just want to move on to the last thing on my lists, and I just want to talk about Discord a little bit. So most of you know that we have a Discord server. If you aren't aware, the link is down below in the description. Head on down and click on that Discord link, and man, you can join for game conversations. We have live game rooms and chats for every single game that's on. We have other sports channels. We have a merchandise channel where people post like deals and stuff. But the thing I want to talk about is our prediction system. So the way it works is every day at 11 a.m. Atlantic, which is 10 a.m. Eastern, the prediction system goes live, and you can vote on who you think is going to win each game. Now, Jason's coded the bot to do this, and at the end of the night, all the scores are tallied, and the leaderboards are updated, and there's no prize at the end. It's just for bragging rights. But if you're in the top 5, your name gets changed to like gold, and if you're the number 1 overall, it changes to pink or whatever. But it's just kind of one of these fun things that we have going on, and there are hundreds of people making predictions on our Discord server. So if you do want to get involved in that, it's not too late because after every month we do a squish, which kind of makes all the points go a little bit more even. So in that second month, you can kind of catch up, and even on the 4th and 5th month, you can still kind of catch up. Makes it easier. So I just want to read out. I'd like to start doing this. Read out the top 5 weekly predictors in Discord and the top 5 overall so far this season.
Cool.
So the top 5 this week, we have Austin with 62 points, and so with a right prediction, you get 2 points. Wrong prediction, you don't get any points.
So you have 31 right predictions.
But every night, the bot we have randomly picks a game worth double.
Oh, okay.
So you have a chance to get 4 points from one game. So Austin's in first with 62. David C11 is in second with 58. Jakester11 is in third with 58. And fourth is Slow Wi-Fi with 58. And fifth is UK Bruin Fan with 58. So it's pretty close.
Yeah.
If anyone's curious where I am, I'm 18th this week, 52 points. So unfortunate.
Yeah, your predicting ability. I hearken us back to last Sunday's podcast, as a matter of fact. We had 3 games to predict. Someone got all 3 right, and someone got only one of them right.
Yeah.
Do you remember who was who there?
No, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Top 5 overall. Austin is also first overall, 102 points. And second is Stephen Loeffler. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Stephen. 98 points. And third is UK Bruin fan with 98. And fourth is Dan10900 with 96. And fifth is Slow Wi-Fi with 96. And in sixth place is myself.
Sixth place.
With 96.
So you just had a slow week.
I had a bad week, yeah.
But you're doing pretty good overall.
Not bad. Tied for fourth.
Great.
So.
If you'd got your Sunday predictions a little better last week, you might be even higher.
You are correct. Yeah. So,
okay.
One thing I forgot to do was write down the games that are being played today. I have no idea.
I just did. I forgot too. So it's Pittsburgh and in Winnipeg.
Pittsburgh in Winnipeg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vegas in LA and Calgary in San Jose.
Okay. So Pittsburgh in Winnipeg. Who are you choosing?
Winnipeg's at home. They both played last night, so they're both maybe going to play the alternate goalie or something. I think Winnipeg wins this.
I'm also going to choose Winnipeg.
Okay.
But I won't be surprised if Pittsburgh wins.
Me neither.
Next game.
Vegas in LA. I'm saying Vegas because I just want it to be that way.
Ooh.
Yeah.
A bit of a rivalry between these two teams. LA's looked kind of questionable. Vegas is playing real strong hockey. I want to choose Vegas, but like the underdog in me really wants to choose LA. I'm going to choose LA.
Right on.
Heck yeah.
Okay, good for you. Calgary in San Jose.
I'll choose Calgary.
I think I will too, actually.
I think Calgary's pissed.
Yeah, I think they're pissed.
Calgary's upset.
Yeah. Okay, so we both agree on Calgary and Winnipeg as our picks, and we differ on the Vegas versus LA. We shall see in roughly 12 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
I got a couple of little wee things.
Wee things.
Wee tiny things. After the game last night, the St. Louis Blues were going to get on their plane and fly to Washington, not to play the Capitals, but to be
Visit the
in
White
the
House.
Capitol, to visit the White House. And they're all going. There's been some controversy in recent years with the current shape of things down there. And not all players have felt comfortable being part of the show or part of the dog and pony show, and they've decided not to go. But all of the St. Louis Blues have collectively decided they're going to go out of respect for the office, I presume, and they probably have different views on the person, and that's fine. But out of respect for the office, they're all going to go and have their little time with the big guy.
Cool.
And, yeah, so it looks good for the league, I think, to have them there. And the NHL is a legitimate professional sports league, and that's why you get invites like that. So
Absolutely,
serious.
yeah. It is important for the league. It's good exposure. It'll be a cool day for the players, regardless of how they feel about Donald Trump, positively or negatively. To be able to go into the White House, get a tour, meet some of the staff, pretty cool experience. So.
I would love to. The last time that I was in Washington, the only day that we had to possibly tour the White House was a Monday, and this is before 9/11, so you could get a lot more places than you can now. And that's the only day of the week they don't do tours, was Monday. So it just didn't work out, but I was dying to get in there. And still would love the opportunity someday, if anyone's listening. And I would know, I would know not to make an idiot of myself, which for me is quite a challenge.
I don't think so.
Baseball. If you like underdogs, you gotta love the story of the Washington Nationals.
Oh, they're playing well?
They made it as a wild card entry into the playoffs. And what they do here's what they do in the Major League Baseball. They only have 3 divisions.
Mm-hmm.
So the 4th divisional opponent is selected by a 1-game playoff between the 2 wild card teams. 1 game. Washington won that game.
Wow.
And they went on to play the Los Angeles Dodgers in a best of 5, not 7, best of 5. The series is 2-2 back in LA, and halfway through the game, the Dodgers are up 3-0 to the Washington Nationals, and this is it. This is the 5th and deciding game. Bottom of the 8th inning, Washington scores, including a grand slam.
No way.
And ends up winning the game like 7-3.
Wow.
And they shut down the Dodgers in the bottom of the 9th, and it's over. Washington goes to the playoffs to face the St. Louis Cardinals. First 2 games in St. Louis. The first game was Friday night. The second game was Saturday afternoon. In the Friday night game, Washington pitcher Anibal Sanchez throws an almost perfect game, and it lasts all the way into the 8th inning. Washington ends up winning that game 2-0 in St. Louis.
Wow.
And then yesterday, Max Scherzer is another starting pitcher for Washington. He goes up, gets in there, and it's a game that all the announcers were saying St. Louis has to win this game because it's the second game on their home field. Washington wins again.
No way.
They won again, 3-1 behind Scherzer. He went deep into the game with a lot of pitches. Washington, it's just a great story. They barely get the wild card. In the wild card game, they was in Washington, so they won that. That was the only advantage they've ever had. Otherwise, they're the underdog all throughout the rest of this. And right now they're up 2-0. And if they win this series, they go to the World Series.
Jeez.
And the beautiful part about their win over the Los Angeles Dodgers is it's revenge for 1981.
Well,
in 1981,
that predates me.
Yeah. Well, the Washington Nationals used to be known as the Montreal Expos.
Yeah.
And in 1981, they played the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. And the Dodgers in Montreal, because Montreal had home field advantage, in Montreal, in the ninth inning, Rick Monday's at the plate. Montreal puts their starting pitcher back in as a reliever, Steve Rogers, and he dishes one up to Rick Monday, and he corks a home run, and the Dodgers beat the Montreal Expos and go on to win the World Series that year.
Wow.
And it's been a long time. It's been like 38 years or whatever the heck that is for me to see revenge on the Dodgers. And it came this year.
Boom.
At the hands of my Washington Nationals. It's the team I'm going to cheer for until Montreal gets another team, if it ever happens.
So,
if they don't, Washington's going to be my team until I get planted.
So admittedly, I have not followed baseball at all this year. Who else is left in the playoffs?
On the American League side, because they're both in the National League, so it's Washington and St. Louis playing to see the National League champion. And the American League side, it's the Houston Astros and the New York Yankees. Oh. And the Yankees won the first game yesterday.
Yawn.
Decisively. It was like a big, high-scoring game. So the Yankees, they haven't actually won the World Series in several years now. It's been like 10 years since they last won the World Series, but still I'm tired of them. So I'm hoping the Astros win again.
Too.
And if they don't, I'm hoping whoever the National League champion ends up being, whether it's the Cards or the Nats.
I agree.
I hope the Yankees get beat.
Yep.
No hate on the Yankees. No hate on the Yankees. It's just once you've won 28 or 29 championships and you've passed the Montreal Canadiens for that honor, you can't win anymore.
Montreal needs to catch up. Right?
Absolutely.
Anything else?
I believe I'm done.
All right. Well, I'm done as well. Probably a shorter podcast than normal, but I didn't write down a lot today because we have a couple of other videos to film.
We do.
I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm moving to New Brunswick. So this is the last time we'll have the opportunity to film until I come back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whenever it is. But we are going to be filming a mail time, very short mail time. There's only 3 things. If you do want to send us a letter or anything, our P.O. box is in the description. We're going to film the jersey giveaway for July. We're going to film, we won a jersey, so we're going to reveal that. And the Anaheim Ducks have a new jersey, and we're going to look at it.
Cool.
So we're going to film those 4 videos right now, and they will release in the coming weeks, or coming week. So thanks for listening or watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Hope you're watching lots of hockey. Hope you had fun. Last night with all those games, there were a ton of great games on yesterday in the NHL. If you're in Canada, hope you have a great Thanksgiving weekend and spend some time with some family, eating lots of turkey, whoever it is you like to celebrate Thanksgiving. And we'll catch you. We won't catch you next weekend. There will be no podcast next weekend. I think I mentioned that last podcast. I will be in the United States of America next weekend, and the following weekend there will be a podcast. So.
But it will be with you and Jason.
It'll be with Jason and I, yeah.
And then a week or 2 after that, you're back here for one more final encore podcast. And then you're up and gone.
Exactly. And then I'll be back in early December around your birthday. Either your birthday's this year's on a Wednesday, so I'll be here the weekend before or the weekend after before.
Cool.
Whichever. So we'll do a podcast that weekend. That weekend is, so. All right. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good day. And we will see you in podcast 85 in 2 weeks. Adios.